Welcome to Exceptional Talk with Dr. Clark, where faith meets purpose and hope sparks hearts. Stories inspire change, and every voice has the power to leave a legacy. Let's talk.
All right. Welcome to Exceptional Talk with Dr. Clark. I am so excited, guys. I have a phenomenal person here that is going to be able to talk to you about her book, Broken and Amended. We have, or shall I say, I have Miss Angela Ashley. Hi, Angela.
Hi, hey, Dr. Clark, how are
I
you?
am great. I am great. Thank you so much for your willingness to come on here for my first time getting back on YouTube. So hey, no better person to come on and talk about their book but you, girl. So we're gonna kind of dive in and let people know a little bit about who you are first, and then we'll start to talk about your book. So
All
who
right,
is
sounds good.
Angela Ashley?
Great. Hi, my name is Angela Ashley. I'm the author of Broken and Amended. Yay!
All right, and guys, she wear many hats. I'm telling you. So I see I got to kind of prompt her a little bit. Come on, girl, tell us about all these hats that you wear.
Well, first of all, I am a ordained pastor and prophetess. I was ordained in that order. However, I am a chef, so I specialize in Southern cuisine and French foods.
Okay.
And however, the next thing that I do, I am a therapist and a film producer.
All right. So, guys, y'all heard it here that this lady here is phenomenal because she wear all these different hats. So, we're going to talk about Broken and Amended. This is the purpose for today because of the fact that she wrote this book. And Angela, kind of give us your story of what prompted you to write this book, Broken and Amended.
Well, what prompted me to write Broken and Amended is I was in a relationship and married with my husband for 30 years. And in 2011, I went through a divorce. But however, what came about with that divorce was infidelity. And I was so broken. I was so broken because from what I was told, I had put my husband on my ex-husband on a pedestal.
Okay.
So, however, I went through a change of brokenness because it caught me off guard. And a year later, I lost my only child, my son, Antoine Ashley. And however, I was so broken. And during the time I was in the hospital with my son, sitting with him, the book came about in my heart. And it just led me because brokenness is so hard and so devastated. I was so distraught because I always thought my marriage would last a lifetime. But I would say this, that you can be healed. Wholeness and restoration does come within our souls. All we have to have is that faith of a mustard seed. And when God say faith of a mustard seed, it is definitely meant faith of a mustard seed because the enemy tries to take our faith. If he can take our faith, he can take our soul. If he can take our soul, he can take our lives.
Oh, wow. You know, Angela, and listening to you, and I know that you and I, we met, believe it or not, guys, I met this woman. She and I happened to be in a beauty supply store. And we have been friends ever since because we have traveled pretty much on a similar journey. I too was married for 20 years and with my ex-husband for 22 years. And right after my divorce, I also lost my son. And that is so ironic because she had the same story. So in speaking and talking and engaging on our conversations, we began to find out the lackingness that we had in our lives. But this book talks about wholeness and being able to come through, to go through the process, through the storm, and then come out on the other side. Because y'all just look at her. She's gone through divorce. She's gone through death of her only son, and she has thrived. Can you tell a little bit about how things have been really, really working out for you? The doors are opening, and guys, she got some good stuff coming on down the pike. I don't know if you want to share it right now, but God has really been doing some great things for her. And Angela, I know there were some things in the book that you might want to share, or you just probably just want to say a few things on. Um, I know that there were reflections that I know I really, really liked. I like the whole book, but there were some certain things that kind of really, really stood out. And I know you and I talked about a little bit of this before we actually came on. And one particular one that she had, and it said, God told me I was chosen. Guys, when I tell you that right there, you know, we all say that we're a child of God, but when God tells you you are his child, that is awesome. So, just talk a little bit, Angela. I don't want you to go into detail. Um, I'll read this part, and then she can talk about it if she so chooses to do so. Esther's life experiences really were about to become the burden of proof. In her ministry, marriage, and son's life, which meant life goes on regardless. She was broken enough in God that the call had to be answered and amended from glory to glory. In the midst of it all, life began to change for Esther. Life still moves and doesn't stop for anyone. It continues regardless of the religion, the culture, the identity, or the relationship. Oh, wow. Let's just talk about that.
Well, basically, what I was stating in this part of the book is that when you're going through in life with trouble, when your loved ones have transitioned, because I lost many loved ones. I lost about 6 or 7 family members, including my son. And after being so dedicated, I did 10 years of seminary,
Mhm,
and being so full of God and just wanting to go on to get that PhD,
mhm,
and uh thinking, oh, I've made it almost there. I got a good marriage. Uh, my son is doing great things. And then when life suddenly hits you in the face and you have a double whammy, and then you can't say with the love that you have a God that did you do this? Or how did this happen? If I shoulda, coulda, woulda, or what went wrong. But when God called me, He told me that I was chosen. Everybody's called, but few are chosen. And
yes,
when God
yes.
told me that I was chosen, I was disturbed because I was raised up in the South in a Baptist church where my forefathers were pastors, and they didn't believe in women ministers.
Mhm,
And so I had to wrestle with this, being a woman of the cloth and being chosen. And I even went through trials with my ex's family. A woman is not supposed to preach. And so going through this and knowing that God told me, it was a battle, it was a struggle. And not only was it a struggle, it just changed my life, but I knew faith was all I had. And
yes,
once you
yes.
have faith of a mustard
Oh,
seed,
yes.
nothing can disturb it,
Right.
because a mustard seed is so tiny, but
Mhm,
it multiplies so
mhm,
much.
yes.
And and I knew if I stuck with God, no matter what, I would get healed, the hope for the healing and how to amend the broken pieces in my life. I knew God would one day restore me.
Oh, absolutely. Guys, you heard it here straight from the author of Broken and Amended. If you're experiencing grief, losses, brokenhearted, read this book. And I can guarantee you, you'll get some solace, some peace, and hopefully some encouragement to move forward. Angela, is there anything that you would like to leave the audience with before we depart tonight?
I would like to leave the audience with one thing that I wrestled with so hard that's in the book, in the beginning of it, was infidelity with my spouse, my ex husband. And that was something that I struggled with because it hurt so much. But I would like for people to know divorce is like a loss. It's like a death as well.
It is.
You go through so much in recovering from that. And but also at the same time, if you know God, stay in God, be of God, this too shall pass.
Awesome. Guys, those were some awesome words for you to help you move forward. Thank you. And I too take those words as well, Angela. Thank you so much for coming on. And
Yes.
I definitely would love to have you again to talk more about Broken and Amended. Guys, I too just have finished the book and I don't want to take away from her, but we'll definitely talk about this and she and I will be able to talk about our books. So welcome and thank you again for tuning in to the interview with Angela Ashley on Broken and Amended. Exceptional Talk with Dr. Clark. Y'all have a good night. Bye.